What up, world? DJ Klyph. Welcome to another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. Appreciate y'all tapping in, man. Got a dope one for y'all. Had a chance to chop it up with the West Coast emcee D Smoke. He's on the War and Wonders tour, and on his stop in Portland, Oregon, he passed through. We had a chance to connect over at the Numberz. You know the Numberz with a Z. Portland's radio station. It was cool, man. Had a chance to connect with him. DJ Shanks and the whole family came through. Passed through the Aux Mute Gallery. Checked out the Numberz Bodega. It was a good time, man. For real, for real. But this conversation is dope. Had a chance to just talk about the process. Talk about his art, his background in creating music. And moving forward into what he's doing right now. And we had to set it up, man. It's got to be a part two. Hey, yo, Smoke, I'm putting it out there, B. We got to do the part two. It was a really, really good time, man. I know you're going to dig this episode. Before we get into it, man, just to keep y'all updated on some things you might want to tap into. Remember, First Thursdays, it's going down in Show Bar, Revolution Hall. And for February, first Thursday in February, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., it's Meeting of the Minds. And then 8 to 10, we're going to be doing Love Jones. I'm going to hold it down for y'all. You know what it is. Open mic, spoken word, the whole nine. So you might want to come through. Like I said, it's going down at the Show Bar at Revolution Hall every first Thursday, man. So come through. Say what's up. You know what I mean? And then other things to tap into, man. You know, just stay connected. DJ Klyph all over social media. DJKlyph.com. Check out the Welcome to the Neighborhood radio show every Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On XRAY FM in Portland, 107.1 and 91.1 FM. Streaming at www.xray.fm, where you get to hear joints like, you know, cuts from War and Wonders from D Smoke. You can also catch me every weekday at 3 p.m. with The Rhythm on the Numberz FM. It's the Numberz with a Z, 96.7 FM in Portland, Oregon. The Numberz.fm. And then stay tuned, man. You know, things are opening up, even though we got this crazy spike in illness, man. Hopefully we're going to hit this peak and things will open up again. I know O.G.ONE got a bunch of shows coming up. I know he got the Emcee joint coming up. He's got some other shows coming up, so be sure to tap in with the homie DJ O.G.ONE. He made a guest appearance on this episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. And shout out to my guy DJ Ambush, man. Just because. Scambeezy in the building. All right, y'all, let's get it in, man. D Smoke. On this episode, the Klyph Notes podcast. Support for the Klyph Notes podcast comes from Akepele Apparel, an idea born from a love of hip-hop, funk, and soul music and its surrounding cultures. With fashion being a huge visual part of the cultures, they've created expressive images to pay homage, invoke nostalgia, and showcase the elements that make up the lifestyle and cultures of these genres. Akepele, apparel for the music lifestyle. For more information, check out akepele.com. That's AKEPELE.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show you're about to listen to may contain explicit content. So guess what? You need to put them babies to sleep. This is for grown folks only. So we're not held liable for anything you might be offended by. Thank you for listening.
Yes, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast, available everywhere you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you know what it is, man. Yo, we are back at the Numberz radio station, man. So grateful to have the Numberz as a sponsor of the Klyph Notes podcast. Be sure to check us out, man. 96.7 FM in Portland. The Numberz with a Z.fm all over the planet, man. Excited to have this conversation with this gentleman who's coming through on the War and Wonders tour, making a stop in Portland. We've been building a little bit, had a chance to chop it up on the Welcome to the Neighborhood radio show on XRAY FM, but you know, he was kind enough to take some time out of his schedule to pull up, man. D Smoke, what's good?
Yeah. What's going on?
Man, look.
Thank you for having me. I'm gonna go live as we do this. If that's
do that,
okay.
bro.
Is
Yeah,
that okay?
absolutely.
All right, for sure.
Absolutely, man.
For sure.
Let people know. It's funny, bro, because I do these things, and I feel so grateful to be able to have these platforms. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm just a fan, bro.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? I'm just
a
a fan for real. But I also have to give credit where credit is due, and I just gotta let you know what it is. So, a homie of mine, Evan, shout out to Ev, hit me up, and he was like, "Yo, man, have you been watching this Rhythm and Flow TV show?" And I was like, "Nah, I haven't seen it." Man, there's this dude on there I think you would really dig, D Smoke. And that was my introduction.
Shout out to Evan.
Right.
Shout out to the big homie.
But obviously after the show, you won the show. After the show, things are continuing to go, like the story continues, but that's not where the story begins, right?
Absolutely.
And that's really what I want to get into, man. I want to talk about, your story and how do we get to Worn Wonders, the album, the tour, and then moving forward.
Got you. Well, where do we start?
Well, so one of the things that I was really taken by when I began to really hear your music, pay attention to your music, is just how artistic you are. Not to say that other folk aren't, but in terms of just overall talent, you rhyme, and then I noticed how musical you are. Like seeing you sit down at the piano and play. Where does that musicality come from?
Got you.
Like how did
my story is similar to a lot of, like, to keep it 100, a lot of R&B artists. Like I grew up in the church singing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was me, my brother Sir, my brother Davion, my cousin Tiffany, all of which are part of our Woodworks family of musicians. Because that's how we started. We started our own label. In the garage of my parents' house. My parents always supported what we did, and they let us literally tear down the everything in the garage and built it back up to a studio. And I was 19 at UCLA at the time, and I was using my my additional financial aid money, to build the studio. Yeah. I had a full academic scholarship, and still took out loans because that was the good loans at the time. You feel me? Yeah. And so that was when the professional endeavors of music started. But the journey of being a student of music, being groomed in music, happened as early as like 4 years old. My mother is a minister of music and has been since I can remember. When I was younger, when we were kids, she was also like singing background for Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, all countless gospel artists. There's pictures of her with Michael and Shaka Khan. She's just been around the world, and the last tour that she didn't, the one that she didn't take, was one to go on tour with Stevie Wonder. And it was just at a pivotal time. And that's her favorite artist and mine of all time. And that's it was just a pivotal time with us at the house. Yeah. And so Pops was still locked up. And to turn that down would mean to be, out indefinitely and us being raised by the elements, Right. And so it was just a story of her being as good as anybody has ever been in the industry. Yeah. And us knowing it as kids, watching her be excellent, musically incredible. Yeah. Like, and even how we get down today it's not an accident. She was like, she taught us the phrase studio etiquette, because we were signed as early as like 8, 9, and 10, or 10, 11, and 12 to DreamWorks Records, Geffen Records. What? Soleil was over there and some other artists, and Gerald Busby, who also had a lot to do with Boys to Men's come up. He signed us to that label, but he ended up getting sick, and we got dropped from the label. But we were in voice lessons at Johnny Gill's house with Randy Gill, and all this, just being groomed to be artists. Yeah. But she was always a huge part of that because professionally she had done so much. She wrote a gospel song that called My Help and several others, but the My Help one went around the world several times. It's been re-recorded by CeCe Winans, Brooklyn Tabernacle, choirs all throughout Africa. And so she's like a core piece of our musical upbringing. But it even dates back to my grandmother who turned down the same deal that who sang Midnight Train to Georgia? Gladys. Yeah, so it was like there were songs that Gladys ended up putting out that she had demoed, but she literally, and this is my grandmother to this day, she literally was like, they were like, hey, could you try to sing it like this? She was like, no, baby, I'm going to sing it how I sing it, okay? And they was like, somebody get this woman up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, she too stubborn, know? But she just was that strong-willed woman. And she even went on, her story was similar to my mom's. Like, she was on tour and got a call and somebody else was watching her kids, and she got a call that the kids were running amok and they didn't know what to do, and she was like, I'm coming home. And that was it,
wow.
you know, and got a job, you know, managing properties and this and that and the other. So that's the upbringing. We look up, like, as kids and see incredible musicians. Like my Uncle Andrew was Shaka Khan's musical director for years. He was Prince's last bass player before he passed. And so, you know, even as recently as like 6-7 years ago, I'm not sure how long ago it was when Prince passed, but when he did the residency at the Forum in Inglewood, you know, he was like, Inglewood swinging, you know, like, we were there, you know, and my uncle was playing bass on stage. So that was our upbringing. So when people see like, oh, I love the level of artistry or the level of musicianship, it's me really just being like, you know, not only am I trying to make it or get on, like a lot of people are doing whatever to get on in music, but I have to pay respect and homage to, you know, my family who came before you. We not out here to misrepresent, you know what I'm saying? There's a level of pride and dignity into the music that we make. And so there's a way to do it. You know, of course, we pushing those boundaries that sometimes they're like, oh, did you have to say it like that? Like, we did. It's ours. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they respect it and love it, you know, because without that blessing, it's like we could do something else.
No doubt.
You know, so.
No doubt. Chopping up with D Smoke. It's funny how things come full circle. So having an opportunity to have you here is dope. A few years ago, several years ago now, your brother Sir was here in Portland, and shout out to our guy Starchild who was the host of that event and curated that event. Rest in peace. He and my brother from another DJ, O.G.ONE, put together this situation called Soul Clap, and they brought Sir up here. So when O and I started, you know, just in conversation, we were talking about the music that you're making and the connection with Sir, and I'm gonna just let you let you talk about that, man, just in terms of connecting with Sir and then seeing that connection with Smoke.
Yeah, man. It was interesting. Again, you know, I just happened to turn on Netflix and was watching the show, and you know, I became a fan instantly of Smoke, and you know, as they started doing the backstory, and I seen. So I was like, wait a minute, they look like Sir. I said, wait a minute, they look alike. Then I was like, wait a minute, that's Sir. And then immediately, like, I jumped on IG and was like, hey, man, like, you know, just saying, you know, the connection there. And I just found, you know, thought it wasn't an accident. You know, just from a faith, you know, standpoint.
Absolutely.
You know, I believe, you know, there are no accidents, and you know, that was just kind of the connection there, and so it made sense. You know, seeing how, you know, how he got down, it was like, that's you know, that's Sir. That's how they, you know, that's how they do. So, you know, once I got his music, you know, I started playing it, you know, some of the music in the arena, and you know, saw some of the reaction. It was like, you know, it was one of those things when you know that there's a connection and you didn't make it happen. It was just, you know, God's plan.
God's, hey, man.
Yeah. And so,
Period.
yeah, you know, that was the connection there.
That's what's up, man.
Absolutely.
So I had this question for you, bro, because I know where I place the music that you make, where I place it. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm categorizing, you know, my crates or whatever. Do you categorize yourself as a certain type of MC?
I try not to. I know I just focus on what I'm here to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain mission that's connected to why I make music. I do know who I'm influenced and inspired by.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, Outkast was them.
Come
you
on
know,
now.
That was it. You know, and of course it was the West Coast artists that, you know, you're not only listening to music, you're kind of getting a roadmap in a certain respect. Like when you listening to LA music, when you listening to Snoop, Corrupt, when you listening to Mac 10, and like they're telling you about the culture of the place that you gotta catch the bus in, or the place that you gotta walk. You know what I'm saying? So, you listen to it, even though, because, you know, I grew up on gospel. You know, West Coast music is far from gospel, you know, but in a sense, it's scripture still. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, as I walk through this valley of the shadow, you know what I'm saying? It's telling us what we're up against. And so it's a combination of like very conscious rap, you know what I'm saying, with Outkast. And then Outkast it isn't black and white conscious either.
Right.
I think that's why we love it so much, because you got that balance. It's like yin and yang, Big Boy and Three Stacks, you know what I'm saying? Big Boy hop on there like, you know, my name Big Boy, Daddy Fat Sacks, a nigga that like them Cadillacs. I stay down with the streets because the streets is where my folks at.
Right.
Better know that. Yeah. Some say we pro-black, but we professional. I missed a lot of church, so the music is our confessional, you know? And then, you know, then Andre come in poetic. Me and everything around me is unstable like Chernobyl, ready to blow at any moment, jumping like a pogo stick. Life never lived up to my expectations, so I accept the patience. Expect the worst, but now I'm pacing back and forth inside. I'm melting like water on wicked witches. A monster truck then came and ran over my picket fences. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they gave us in 96.
Right.
They gave us that in 96.
Right.
It was something special. It's a time before everybody had, you know, at the time, what would have been $10,000 worth of technology in your pocket.
Right.
Of course, when they produced the means to create it a whole lot simpler and mass produce it, then, you know, maybe $1,000 would get you all the technology that the world has to offer in your pocket.
Yeah.
Thus crippling us in certain respects. You know, it was something special in that time that was coming out of the South, you know. Yeah. And at the same time, we know what the West was up against, and it was something powerful. It was a movement, but it just had a whole different energy to it. In so many ways, the West Coast wasn't known for being lyrical at the time, you know. And I think people from the outside looking in didn't know why people love this like that. Yeah. But then when you go to LA and you understand, it's like, oh, this is the culture. They're capturing and delivering us, you know what I'm saying, what's actually happening in real time. And so as a kid, that was the combination of that is what groomed me into the rapper I saw myself becoming. You know, and in a lot of respects, I'm a late bloomer in rap, you know. I feel like each project they're going to watch me get better as a lyricist, and that's exciting because nowadays when I sit down and write, I still surprise myself. I'm like, all right, smoke, and then reach back, tap myself on the back. You know what I'm saying? That verse harder than mine. Right. Like, you know. Right. So, and you got to be like that. You got to sit there and celebrate your creative process, what you're doing. But my come up or my upbringing in music started with piano musicianship. Where's middle C? What is a major chord? When you add the seventh, how does that change the mood of it? You know what I'm saying? What progressions make people feel certain ways? You know, 2-5-1 is jazz. You know, like all of those things were how I came up, and so when I'm creating, it's all of those things happening at once, and that's what I enjoy, making that fusion of, you know, music and composition. I was considering majoring in music composition, which would have just took me far into classical, jazz, all of these different modes of music, and but you know, ended up majoring in Spanish. You know, so because you know, I mean, for whatever reasons, but yeah, I don't know what question I was answering.
Nah, that's dope.
But that's the rapper that those are that's the company I like to strive to be in, because if you listen to even their albums, the early ones, it's live musicianship in there, it's live guitar, it's vocal pads in there, like Jazzy Bell, vocal arrangements, you know.
It's out to Dungeon Family for real.
Yeah, so then you see that they always planned on going as musical as they could go with Speaker Box and Love Below. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Being just like straight orchestras and all kind of stuff in there. So, yeah.
Making art in this time, making rap music in this time, do you feel like that gives you a different perspective, maybe because you look at music that is tasty to the ear, but you have an opportunity to do it in a way where you are true, like. Typically what we hear is people think, okay, I want to make a song, and my sole purpose is I want to make a song that's just going to make people turn up. Right. But you're talking about understanding the power of music and how it can influence emotions, and that there are many emotions that we deal with as human beings. And so to be able to have that at this early stage of making music at this level, do you think that I don't want to say gives you a leg up, but maybe just gives you a different perspective than the next artist?
in all honesty, it's more of a burden.
Word?
To keep it 100, and not a bad burden, but it's just like when you have if you have a sense of purpose in whatever you do, moving through the world is a little bit harder. But what you feel on the inside is like a certain level of gratification that I believe people who just try to win by any means necessary, they don't feel. I don't think they have the same, they don't wake up with the same confidence as me. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know why they doing it, but they feel like they got to.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I got to do nothing,
Word.
you know, other than listen to that voice on the inside and follow that, you know, but it's not easy, no. It's not, I don't have an advantage because I want to make music that both entertains people and gives them plant seeds. You know what I'm saying? That's not an advantage. That's my cross to bear. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's my burden, a beautiful burden at that, because it's like, you know, it's not many me's, you know. It's just a whole lot of others, and I'm not, and you know, and everybody's individualistic. I'm not saying like, oh, if you're not doing this, you ain't doing nothing. That's not what I'm saying by any means. Right. But I do know that, you know, when you make a decision to do something a specific way and it's purpose driven, it's gonna be met with some opposition, and we get that. You know what I'm saying, and that's cool. Yeah. You know. People who I get off the phone with people that I connected with face to face, and these are people that didn't know me on my come up, but met me along this journey, and they're like, "Bro, love you, Smoke," like, and it's sincere, you know, it's real love, and then, you know, and that's the beauty of this journey. Like when they do connect with me, they connect all the way. Yeah. It's not like, oh, we gotta fuck with him because he winning, and then they like, okay, I guess we gotta stop by and talk to them. You know, it's not that. I'm not going through no emotions. You know, I rather, you know, not. You feel me? Like it's people that don't fuck with Smoke, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
And that's super cool.
Yeah.
You know, I rather that than a gang of people lingering in the zone and me not knowing why they there. Like either beat it or fuck with me heavy.
I love that. I love that. Chopping up with D Smoke. So you're in Portland right now, man. And once again, bro, thank you so much for taking time to come through.
Yes, sir.
At the early part of the War and Wonders tour, in support of the album of the same name. So let's just talk about the project for a minute.
Yes, sir.
It's kind of nice, bro.
Hey, thank you.
It's kind of nice, bro.
I think it's really good. I do. When I listen to it, I be like, "This is some good music."
Yeah, right. Like, right.
Yeah.
It's. We talked about it on the radio show. Like, I have like just that section of the album that I really, really love. That I end up just kind of
the middle section.
Yeah, that middle section, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the whole album is dope, and you know, O talked about playing joints in the arena, which I think is cool because it's, man, look, I'm an old head, bro. You know what I'm saying? So when I get introduced to music and I get introduced to artists, and it's important to me that there is the balance, right? Because I want that music that makes me want to turn it up, but then I also want the music to say something. You know what I'm saying? Right. We live in times where there's so much just noise. And I don't mean noise just from a musical sense, from entertainment, from just the lives that we live. There's so much noise we have to navigate through. And so when an artist like yourself makes music that has that balance of or makes art that has that balance of great music and then content that makes you think, or content that hits you in the mind and in the heart, I think that should be celebrated. And
Absolutely.
Look, I believe in giving people their flowers. We're here to celebrate them. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
you. So thank you for creating me. And I'm gonna speak for Ambush, DJ Ambush at the Numberz. I'm gonna speak for Ambush and say I'm sure he feels the same. That, you know, when you create content like this, it's powerful and it's lasting and it can make a difference. To the world, bro. You know what I mean? So big ups to you. But at any rate, all of that to say.
Yeah. I can get all that out of the way, man.
The album is dope.
Thank you.
That project was a project that you'd been working on for a minute. Production.
Since, and Shanks is in the room. Shanks, yell out if I'm wrong. But I want to say, I'm trying to figure out if there are songs on there that we had during the time when we were creating Black Habits, because when we're making any one project, there's so much music that's created, you know. But I know the majority of it was created after, you know, I started after we, you know, put out Black Habits, or at least released the deluxe version of Black Habits. And, you know, and I'm the type of dude that until it's released, I'm still creating, you know. So there's some songs that by the time we dropped it, we're only a couple months old. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy.
But yeah, it was that was a project from the heart, and it was a hard time to create because your audience is changing so fast, and not in the sense that different people are, you know, like of course our audience is growing because we're still relatively early in this journey, but changing in the sense that the world is changing, so the people are changing. Yeah, you know, people are listening differently, people are living differently. You know, and you have. Like I personally have strong critiques on a lot of things that are going on, and it's like, well, shit. Like these things are now so polarizing that that you know a lot of artists. I listen to the music people are putting out, and they're kind of just like, let me stay in this music space. Right. So it got really difficult to talk about our experience in the world in music. Yeah. And if you listen to War on Wonders, it just got jabs here and there. You know. And then I go back to talking about my life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So War on Wonders, the title song got some jabs in there. Like this is how I feel about what's happening in the world. You know, jab. If you caught it, you did. Right. If you didn't, whatever. Cool.
Go listen again.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then we have a whole song, Mind My Business. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we still have the responsibility to live our lives. You know, and so if we get too caught up in the world around us, we forget that our immediate world is like, you know. It's something that deserves our attention, you know, and there's so many distractions. And pick up our phones and it's telling us all kind of things, but it's really like, nigga, did you kiss your grandma today? Did you know what I'm saying? What you eat? Yeah. Did you think about what you ate, or you just threw some bullshit in?
Right,
like,
right.
Or did you know, show love to your people, or you know? So
that's crazy, bro.
But yeah, the album. Man, we had so many songs that we loved that aren't on the album, so I might just start dropping songs.
Come on now, let me get that exclusive.
Individual songs that it's like, you know, and the one that probably hurt the most to not put on there, but it didn't make sense to put it on there, was one with myself, PJ Morton, and my cousin Tiffany Goucher. Love that song. It's a song that Andre Harris produced. Oh, word. That'll come out on the next one for sure. Okay. You know
you can slide me the early version.
You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we can do. Shanks ain't a fan of that. Shanks ain't a fan of that.
Come on, Shanks. Look out for him, brother, man.
So, but it's some beautiful music that I'm excited to put out. You know, but of course, I'm so like on to the next one that I forget, like I forget the amount of love, effort, and heart that went into creating the one that we put out, and how much it deserves to get its push and its time for people to connect with it, and I gotta do the footwork behind it before I start, you know. Yeah. So that's the balance we're trying to strike, because it's decades worth of music in here. You know what I'm saying? And
I feel you.
And we gonna leave here having given them all that we have, you know what I'm saying? So
that's what's up. That's what's up. All right, bro. They giving me they waving the flag.
They waving the flag.
Man, look, we're gonna have to do like a part 2, man. We're gonna have to do something more, because your story there's so much more to it, and I'm really excited for it. Let people know. Well, actually, so that people can tap in to know where you're going to be, so they can see you live in their city. Gotcha. How can people do that?
Man, if they go to my Instagram page and click the link in my bio. My Instagram is dsmoke7. Click the link in my bio. All the dates are there. Our next date, we're in Portland tonight. So let's start there. Exactly. Tonight we're in Portland.
Wonder Ballroom.
And it's going up. We at the Wonder Ballroom, and it's gonna be beautiful. You know, I'm traveling, you know, with my team. It's a close knit group of us, and we're excited about it. You know, my wife Cherie, she's playing violin and singing, and you know, she's an artist. My cousin Tiffany Goucher is stepping out, and she's singing beautifully and killing it. You know, and I got my team of business people with me, and we're just on this journey. So we're excited about it.
That's what's up. So tap into the Instagram, dsmoke7 on Instagram. Check out the website, dsmoke music.
Yep, dsmokemusic.com.
dsmokemusic.com. Hit up the merch store, buy some merch. Yeah. Spend your dollar. Like my man O.G.ONE says, vote with your dollar, man. Let's support good artists doing good music. Brother, man, look, just know this, bro. You are a part of my network. Anything that I'm doing with DJ Klyph Productions anything I can do to support, I got you.
Thank you.
You are a part of the whole team here and the people that I'm connected with. I'm gonna speak for O.G.ONE. I'm gonna speak for Ambush and the Numberz. The platforms that we have are yours to use, man. So
dope. And I'm on live. Let me say shout out to DJ Klyph, DJ O.G.ONE, and DJ Ambush and the Numberz. You know, we here in Portland. It's a beautiful space. There's brilliant people here, and it's love.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Doc.
Man,
thank you so much, man.
Thank you, my G. Yeah.
D Smoke live here on the Klyph Notes podcast. Remember to check out the podcast everywhere you listen to your podcast, man. Shout out to our supporters once again. The Numberz is the Numberz with a Z, 96.7 FM in Portland. Shout out to XRAY FM. You can check me out on XRAY FM every Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 107.1, 91.1 FM in Portland, or www.xray.fm. Be sure to tap into DJKlyph.com. I'm all over social media at DJ Klyph. Shout out to Akepele Apparel for their continued support for the Klyph Notes podcast. Check them out at akepele.com, AKEPELE.com. And last but never ever least, big ups to the homie, Theory Hazit, for creating the official theme song for the Klyph Notes podcast. Thank y'all so much for rocking me. God bless you. I love you all. Until we have an opportunity to do this again, y'all be blessed. Peace.